They're waiting to get more people on before I start.
Sure.
Okay.
These are sellers.
Okay. All right. Hello friends, I am 10 Tampa Bay's Adure Achumba here with some breaking news coming from the FBI. They have just confirmed via their Twitter account that the skeletal human remains discovered here at the Myakkahatchee Environmental Creek Park indeed belong to Brian Laundrie. Now recall they made this discovery yesterday with the help of Brian Laundrie's parents, Chris and Roberta Laundrie, who were escorted into the park by law enforcement agencies. Now, the Sarasota County Medical Examiner made this determination using dental records that they had to determine that indeed the skeletal remains indeed belong to Brian Laundrie. We also have seen several investigative officers going in and out of the park all day long. Matter of fact, just not long ago, we saw the body transport vehicle pull out of the park. Again, now they're going to be taking that to a lab where they're going to perform a full autopsy. We're not clear yet if a toxicology report will be involved in this particular investigation, but we do know that they are going to try to also find out the cause of death. We, again, don't know if this was by suicide or if it was a homicide. This is all going to be part of the fuller autopsy investigation that is going to be carried out by the Sarasota County Medical Examiner. Again, the authorities have been looking for Brian Laundrie for over a month now. We do know the story behind all of this. He and his fiancee, Gabby Petito, had traveled on this cross-country road trip, and he returned without her on September 1st. We, of course, know that, Gabby Petito likely had been deceased by that time, according to the Teton County coroner's investigation that was carried out when they determined they found her body, that it had already been out in the wilderness for about 3 to 4 weeks before it was discovered on September 19. Again, if you're just joining us now here on Facebook Live for 10 Tampa Bay, the FBI just confirmed to us that the skeletal human remains discovered here at the Myakkahatchee Environmental Creek Park indeed belong to Brian Laundrie. So that chapter in all of this, we can say that part of the investigation has been solved, but there's still several questions remaining to be answered, and investigators are pouring through the backpack as well as the notebook that they discovered in the vicinity where the remains was found. They're going to be trying to find out what's inside this notebook and if it has any answers as to what happened in Utah, what happened on their cross-country trip, and what led to the murder of Gabby Petito. Again, we do know, according to So a question is thrown at me right now through the producer. So the question was asking about how they determined the dental record. So we did get from a reliable source earlier in the day that the jaw to the skeletal remain was intact, and because the remains had been out in the elements, it had gone through a decomposition process, and there wasn't likely any tissue remaining that could have helped them use other determining factors. But the jaw was complete, it was intact, and the dental record already available in the system was provided, and it was used to determine that this was indeed Brian Laundrie. And another question coming in about the parents' involvement in the search and discovery yesterday. So let me help you get up to speed on that. Now, keep in mind, yes, the parents have been acting suspicious. We have seen that. First of all, they were silent by not giving the much needed information when the law enforcement officers wanted it, and they had kept silent throughout the process. But the father, Chris Laundrie, has assisted in the past, and I'm going to step out here so that we can get some activity going on now. Chris Laundrie had actually in the past 2 weeks had come out here to the park to assist, and this is another body transport vehicle. We don't know if that's the one that contains the remains, because we did see one leave the park earlier. But going back to that question regarding Chris Laundrie, he did come to the park here around 2 weeks ago. I'm not clear on the timeline, but he was brought here with law enforcement and they assisted in the search. Now, on September 17, when the parents had reported Brian Laundrie missing, they said, according to law enforcement, that this area had indeed been pointed out to them at the time. And when they did come back to the area with Chris Laundrie, part of the area was still submerged in water. Now, recall we had some heavy rains throughout that around that time, and the park was still submerged in water. And recall as well that they also extended the search to the Carlton Reserve side of to the Venice side of the Carlton Reserve. Now, Chris Laundrie had helped with that search, and we learned from the family lawyer Steve Bertolino that particular search on that day had been unsuccessful. We didn't get too many details about where or what and how that search was conducted, but we were told that it was unsuccessful. But fast forward now to when the park was open to the public. We don't know what spurred this, but we're told also by the family lawyer that the parents had reached out to him to tell him that they wanted to come to the park to help with the search. Again, this now knowing that some of the area that had been submerged underwater were now dried out, and they wanted to come to some of the familiar areas that trails that they had gone to try to see if they could help to find out where their son could be. The lawyer contacted authorities. They met the Laundries here on Wednesday morning, and they proceeded to go into the park to try to find where Brian could possibly be. Now, I'm told that this area where the body was found is actually quite a distance from the park entrance, somewhere around 40 minutes on foot. So this is an area, it's a very vast area. So they walked deep into this area, which is off of a trail that the family, again, has long told authorities that they frequented. So this is an area that the family knows. It's an area that the law enforcement authorities were also aware of. So this is not anywhere new. However, the details and how they came upon all these items are still unknown to us. We don't have those details, but we do know that at some point, Chris Laundrie went off this path and discovered a dry bag in the area. We don't know what was inside that dry bag, if it was heavy enough to be submerged in the water, and if that's where the notebook was found. Keep in mind, if the notebook was inside that dry bag, it could still be intact. If it wasn't in the dry bag, you know what water can do to paper. So we're, hoping that it's the other idea, so that the investigators can find out more details about all of this and what happened. So that's where we are on that. That's right. Another question, wondering if Gabby Petito's parents have made a statement, and we can tell you no, they have not. Obviously, this is all too traumatic for them. we're giving them time to grieve. We are in communication with the family's lawyer, and we will be getting any comments or any information through him. But for now, we haven't heard from the parents. We're also monitoring their Twitter accounts. You know, we're also following the dad and the mom and the foundation page. We're also following one of her grandparents. So we are in touch with the family, but we haven't seen any comments from them for now. Again, I haven't had a chance to look at my phone yet to see if I've gotten any response from Steve Bertolino. The internet communication here is not that great, but I will definitely take a look and find out if he has made any comments since the FBI confirmed that the remains found here, again, the skeletal remains, I have to be very clear about that, the skeletal remains found here, if he had anything to say or has anything to say since it has been confirmed to be Brian Laundrie. So if you keep sending me those questions, I'll definitely find answers for you, and I will get those to you through our